Like, you don't need to martyr for anyone, and you don't need to go outside what you're comfortable with for somebody else. No matter what, it doesn't make you good. You don't get brownie points for self-rejecting so that someone else is happy, and so that you're protecting someone else, like, from their own ego and their own fragileness. You don't get brownie points for that. You don't get a special spot in heaven for that. That's not what's going on here. That's what we've been brainwashed into thinking, but it's in my humble opinion, that's not what it is. Hello everyone. I am reviving my YouTube channel. I could not for the life of me figure out where I wanted to take this. Could go in a million directions. I want to just tell you full disclosure. I also was afraid of what people were going to think about me and what I wanted to talk about, especially people who know me outside of this and knew me in my old days of being a personal trainer, nutrition coach. Obviously, I'm doing something way different now, and I was just really kind of struggling with that and had to really sit. And after the solar eclipse, a lot of things changed for me. A lot of things got put into different perspective for me. And a lot of things that I do on my own, a lot of the own rituals that I do, the energy work that I do for myself, and that I share in my membership. If you're interested, by the way, in anything that I talk about in this video, we go way more in depth in the membership. It's called Solos. Links are below. And so I spill it all there. But in terms of just any public platform, TikTok is probably where I share the most, but it's not gatekeeping. It's more like I'm only going to share it where I feel safe and comfortable sharing it. And now I'm getting to a point in my journey, I'm going to turn 36 in a few months, and I'm just kind of like, I don't really want to hide any part of me anymore. And whatever happens as a result of that is just kind of what happens, and screw it. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this video now. So today we're talking about alien bloodlines and the machine that is the human body. Again, way more depth, way more detail in the membership. I want this weekly YouTube series to just be like our weekly chat where we talk about cool topics, and then, take it all in. And then if you're super interested and you're like, wait, I need way more of this, hop on over to the membership. Okay. So alien bloodlines. So let me get you up to speed on what I've been speaking about with my clients and the transmissions that have been coming in. So essentially, and I'm okay, from here on out, I am speaking, I'm like telling my brain, it doesn't matter what anyone's going to think about this information. Just say it. Just say it. Like, I know in my heart that it's true. I know in my body that it's true. Just say it. So each of us are comprised of various strains of alien DNA. I don't think it's a secret to anyone who's interested in this kind of stuff. It's like, okay, yeah, duh, we already know that. But what I want to say about it, and what I've been talking about with clients, is that those strains, that lineage, whatever lineage you belong to, and there can be multiple, whatever lineage you belong to is being really activated right now. And that sort of leads to gifts, talents, abilities that you might not realize and you might not be able to hone unless you're specifically consciously thinking about it, working with it. And I feel very strongly about giving this message today to like anyone who wants to hear it, because obviously we're not taught this. No school that I know of are children learning like, okay, so if you have Arcturian DNA, like XYZ, if you have Pleiadian DNA, XYZ, like we're not learning about that stuff. So I do think that sometimes we judge ourselves for various traits that we have that society tells us are not good, are weak, are unproductive, are whatever. And what I find in my work is that that's not true at all. That's a completely illusory judgment based on control. And a lot of those traits just are part of the genetics and actually are a positive thing, especially when you are in the phase of life where you're focusing on self and you're focusing on self-love and self-acceptance. That's when these gifts and abilities really start to flourish, because you're finally saying yes to yourself. You're finally saying, I'm not trying to fit into society. I just want to be me, And I just want to see what my gifts are, what my powers are, what my abilities are, and not try to fit that into how can I be productive with it? How can I make the most money with it? You know, all these kind of systems of oppression that teach us to work, 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 like be productive and fit in and be accepted by people and chase all this external stuff. And then you get to a certain point, and I think, again, this is why I wanted to start speaking again on YouTube, because I'm in my mid-30s. I feel like I have lived a lot of life, and I have done a lot of things and experienced a lot of things, and I'm really at the point now where I am really stepping into, this is who I am, this is what I am, and the judgment of others, like, I just can't care about it anymore. It is a detriment. It's always been a detriment to us to care. But you get to a point where, and you might be there too, let me know in the comments, you get to a point where you almost feel like you are going to suffocate if you hide your real self any longer. And that's where I'm at. So that's why I'm just saying it all. And it is what it is. And I'm not going to get in this video right now about what species is this, what species is this, because to be honest, I don't know enough to like sit here and speak on it in a video. I don't. I know the strands that I have. I know the strands that a lot of my clients that I see regularly, but I don't feel comfortable saying, okay, these are all the options. These are all, because I think too, a lot of these civilizations are not anything that we've ever heard of. And when I do Akashic record readings, a lot of the time when I'm looking at people's, you know, what mix of civilizations and DNA they have, sometimes the name, I'm like, I literally tell them, okay, if you're watching this and you've had a reading with me and I've said this, you're probably laughing. Because sometimes I'm just like, this is from a different universe. And the name of the planet you're from is just like a various sounds. I can hear it, but I could never like make the sounds with my mouth. So you're just gonna have to be okay with that, because I have no idea. Especially if you're from this, if all of your DNA is from this galaxy, it's way easier. You know, again, it's the things we hear about all the time: Arcturian, Pleiadian, Polaris, Blue Avian, like Orion, like whatever. Like all of these, we hear about them all the time. But there are so many different alien lineage that are outside of here, that are not even, I mean, sometimes people are literally from a black hole. They're from a planet that got swallowed up in a black hole. It's just, there's so many anomalies and there's so many cool things. It's awesome. So, by the way, link below too if you want your own Akashic reading. So I'm not going to get into all of that, but what I do want to tell you is that these things are getting activated and they're quashed by any constrained belief system. So I want you to take a second here. You can pause the video if you need to, and think about what parts of you that you have stifled, what parts of you that you have repressed, because you've been made to feel that those things are unwanted, unproductive, unbecoming, whatever it is. Maybe you actually don't want to shave your armpits, but you feel like you have to. Or maybe you do resonate with dark feminine and you're worried what your friends are going to think if you start like getting more into that and letting that like darker side come out. You know, like I feel like there's majorly big themes I see: the death of the good girl. I see that crumbling. The death of needing to like be super productive and hustle is dying. The need to appease the gaze of whatever sex or gender or group of people that you're drawn to, that you want them to be drawn to you back. The death of that. The death of chasing. I feel like it's a major death of chasing right now. And we are really moving into magnetism and moving into, how can I be actually who I am and then just attract what I want, you know? So I'm trying not to get on like too many tangents. So I just take a second and think about things about you that you do hide from people. And if you're having trouble with this, think about people you envy. Who do you envy and what's their deal? For example, maybe okay, I'll give you a perfect example. So I grew these bad boys when I was like 12 and a half, almost 13. And so imagine having double D's on a, 13-year-old's body, getting very unwanted attention, and you're too young to even understand what's going on or why people are looking at you like that. So I grew up hiding myself. I grew up hiding, like always covering it up, always like making sure, like I would tape them down. I would try to make them as small as possible because I did not want that attention and I wasn't mature enough to handle that attention. It was horrible. So to wear a shirt like this would have been my worst nightmare 15 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. Because about 26, I started to free them and be like, okay, this is what I look like. That's it. Like whatever happens, happens, So for me, I always envied women with small chests who can run around and be free, and women who they'd have their shoulders back and they'd be walking around really like standing tall and chest forward, and you can just feel that they are like in command of themselves. I'd always be envious of them because I'd be like, well, I can't do that because I have these, and if I do that, like everyone's gonna look at them, and then I'm gonna get that unwanted attention that I'm scared of, So I'd always envy women who would comfortably just walk around like that, and not necessarily that they would have a small chest, but just whatever, or women who can like run and jump without pain, and just they're not, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? So I would be envious of that. So that's an example of my subconscious was trying to tell me, you envy them, you envy that person. They have something that, not that you want. That's the thing. They don't have something you want. They have something you have already. You're just repressing it. You're just not letting yourself step into that. And it's true no matter what. Even if you envy someone else's body type or someone else's whatever, I'm telling you, you don't actually envy that. You envy what they're getting as a result of that. And it's all energy. It's all, I listen to me. I can feel the objections already. So that's why I'm going to like just tell you straight up. I am telling you, it's actually not the looks. It's actually not the appearance. It is the energy. It is the energy. The energy moves forward, and that's what people see. So it's not actually that you envy the thing. It's that you envy the energy. You envy what is coming from that person, and then what they're getting as a result of that. And that is within you. If you envy it, if you're jealous of it, it's within you. It wants to come out, but you have a story around it. Okay, let me know in the comments if that resonated with you. This is my first video back, so I'm kind of just letting myself freestyle here. So sorry if this is kind of like cockamamie, but we're just doing it. I'm just throwing out a bunch of stuff, and you let me know what you're interested in. So that's all part of the alien DNA, and one thing is really strong, especially Pleiadian or Polarian and Syrian bloodlines. There is a major, well, not so much Syrian actually. Pleiadian's the biggest one. Pleiadians need a lot of rest. Pleiadians need quiet. Pleiadians need like a cleared out space where they can just exist and let their vibration expand. So like a perfect situation for a Pleiadian is like a, pretty good sized living space, and they're the only one there. Or it's like them and some animals, or it's them and like another quiet human. You know what I mean? That's very Pleiadian. Oh my God, someone needs to hear this. I'm getting really like hyped up talking about this. So that's just one example. That's very, very Pleiadian. versus Arcturian. Arcturians are very scientific, very highly intelligent, very rational, very Arcturian energy is very like robot brain. Like if you know anyone who's like robot, I mean there's other like lineage that have this too, but Arcturian is very they're always trying to intellectualize emotions. They just the brain is the powerhouse and like that's kind of it. So that's heavy duty for them. So it's like the complete opposite of Pleiadian, right? And so in our society, Arcturian is celebrated. Like our Arcturian energy of like intellectualizing emotions, rationalizing, because that kind of person usually also has a really high paying job, or that like Arcturian brains are really good scientists, are really good doctors, are really anything where you are thinking and analyzing and rational and like no emotion, no nothing else. Just like that's what it is. And that's what I said. They're really good lawyers. They're really good lawyers. So that, man, this really needs to be said. Oh my God, I can't tell you how much my intuition is being like, say more, say more, say more. So keep letting me know in the comments where the interests are for you. So Pleiadian energy is not celebrated. Pleiadian is seen as weak in our society because that energy of like, I need quiet, I need calm. Pleiadians should not be working a ton. They're not hustlers. They're not hustlers. They don't grind. They do because they have to in the society, and they're really, really dysregulated as a result of that because that's not their true nature. Their true nature is to relax by the ocean with a book about a cute little love story. That's Pleiadian. Pleiadian is like, I want to hear about people falling in love. I want to like let the earth cuddle me and hear the ocean waves, and I want to be in a warm blanket, and I want to just like, like that is Pleiadian. And that is considered lazy and unproductive and weak and sensitive and whatever else. So I hate that, I hate that certain beliefs in our society have made people repress their beautiful alien energy because then you can't actualize your true self. Because Pleiadian also can have really powerful businesses, they can be really powerful entrepreneurs. They can do anything, they can't do. Pleiadian, for example, is not a good lawyer. Oh my God. I have seen heavily Pleiadian energy being a lawyer and like hating every second of their life and being like, this feels so outside my nature, but I went to school, I have $100K in debt or whatever, and I need to get this money and pay these bills. So you see how we get trapped? We get trapped in the system, and the system owns us, and then we get away from what our true energy is because now, the sunk cost fallacy and not that is real debt. That's not a fallacy debt, but that feeling of, well, now I'm this far in, like I can't give up now, that whole thing. So I think it's really important to discuss alien lineage and how that manifests in you because it is a gift. And sometimes it's not seen as a gift. And of course, there's upside downside to every single, group. Of course, Arcturian, difficult with relationships, especially because Arcturian energy typically does attract a more like emotional type energy. And then they're like, why are you a robot? Why can't you feel things? Blah, blah, blah. And that makes Arcturian like really off balance and dysregulated because they're like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm a robot. Plug in what you need from me and I will execute that. Like, I can't, what are you asking of me? So I feel like there's a lot of Pleiadian Arcturian watching this. I keep talking about only those two groups. I know a bunch about more groups. I just don't, again, first video back, let me know. So back to if you need to pause the video, just think about that. Just think about the things you envy in others. Just think about what you parts of you that you want to come out, parts of you that you want to embody more, but you don't know how you could possibly do that. So I have a house full of cats. So if you see a cat's running around, yeah. So think about that. That really wanted to come up here. And then the final thing that I want to discuss with you, I'm trying to make these videos under 25 minutes long so that people don't drop off and be like, this is, girl, speed it up. So acceptance of all self. So we talked about that. Service to self versus service to others. So I refer to, when we talk about positive or negative beings, I don't like to refer to it in that way because that implies judgment. And I think this is my issue with New Age spirituality, which is synonymous, in my opinion, with whitewashed spirituality, with spiritual bypassing, is that people, they don't want to deal with difficult emotions, so they just use spirituality to escape them. And that's why someone actually commented on my TikTok a little while ago about like, oh, isn't the Pleiadian agenda part of white supremacy? And you know what? Like, no, I mean, no and yes, because like I said, Pleiadian energy is very sensitive, is very emotional, is very, and beautiful, beautiful. I'm heavily Pleiadian. Like it's a beautiful energy, and people can lean into that and use it as an excuse to not do the hard work that is humanness. So we do see a lot of cowardice with that energy. And I'm not saying that everyone's cowardly with that energy, but shame is what imprisons all. Like when you hear about Earth being a prison planet, Earth is what shackles us. Shame is what shackles us to this Earth. Now, if you have a lineage that is very, very deeply sensitive and feeling and all of that, it's going to be harder for you to sit with shame because you feel it exponentially more than someone else. So that's going to be hard for you. Now, not an excuse, and you should never use it as an excuse. And some people do. And so you will see some people talking about like, you know, channeling Pleiadians and stuff and being like, everyone needs to love the, okay, I don't want to judge. Let me start over. Everyone needs to love the world, love, peace, whatever. Okay, yeah. And you don't resist oppression by sending love to people. You don't achieve change with peace and love. Peace and love is the end goal. And when you have systems of oppression and when you have groups of people marginalized, you can't reason with an oppressor energy because they're using their reason. They're like, I'm up here, you're down here. That's my reason. You can't appeal to reason. You can't appeal to the oppressor energy. You can't do that. So sorry, this turned into like a social justice thing. I just get really annoyed because that commenter is right. A lot of people do use Pleiadian messaging as like a way to escape their own cowardice. And a lot of people have very comfortable lives and they don't want to stop, you know, shopping at places where it's unethical, you know, unethical business practices. They don't want to. And I'm not saying I'm a perfect human. Of course, I have a cell phone, right? Like I have taken as many steps as I possibly can, and I'm also imperfect. Like look at all this stuff I have, you know? So I'm not trying to be on my high horse in any way. I do not feel that way. I do not feel that I am exemplary in any way with that. I'm also just like trying my best to navigate all of this also and getting better and better as I go. And I feel that acknowledging that is necessary versus running away from it and hiding behind like a peace and love narrative so that you don't have to look yourself in the eyes and see how you are part of the problem. Okay, now I've said that. So yeah, that commenter, that really stuck with me because I was like, you know what? Actually, like you're kind of right. Like the Pleiadian itself is not that, but the human version of it has sometimes been skewed as an escape. And so back to what I was saying, humans, like service to self versus service to others, human beings are both of those. So I don't say positive or negative beings. I don't know what happened. The video cut out. So maybe someone was unhappy that I was speaking about this. So anyway, I don't think it's correct to say positive, negative because there's too many things around those words for us humans. So instead I say service to others versus service to self. Well, one thing I want to say is that when it comes to interdimensionals, aliens, when it comes to interdimensionals, they are service to others, service to self, right? Their frequencies are not as robust as us as a human. Like if you follow me on TikTok, you know, and so here I go saying something that I never thought I would say to like people in the public. But I have like 5 different souls. I have 5. I have 5 different souls inhabiting my body. And it's not like they're intruders. That is Mina. Mina is 5 different lines, 5 different strands of lineage, each coming together to comprise the being that is speaking to you. It's so limiting to think of one soul. One person is one soul. And this, let me know in the comments if you're interested, because if I start talking about this, that's going to be like a whole like hour-long video. I do already have that. It's in my membership. Check it out. But it's incorrect. I've done way too many Akashic Record readings. It is incorrect to say that every person is one soul. You're not. And especially the beings that are service to self, so like the reptilian primarily, you know, like that's what reptilian, Anunnaki, like that whole group, they do like they like know how to torture the soul. They know how to make it so that you to escape the pain that's being inflicted on you, you literally rip your soul apart into like you rip yourself into 2 or more, and then those go live lives. And so, for example, me, a 5, that 5 is the result of that horrible pain. And now I am coming back together. Like I'm like Humpty Dumpty. I'm gluing myself back together, and I'm navigating this world with all of the shredded pieces of me that slowly are coming together to form a very powerful human existence. So it's, and 2 of those souls are service to self, and 3 of those souls are service to others. So I am quite literally comprised of both of those energies. So one more thing I just want to say, I just want to name, is that I feel like a lot of humans, part of, again, the whitewash spirituality is be good, be high vibe, be pure, be a pure light. And that, I get what they're trying to say, but I think it's sort of incorrect. And, you know, I'd love to have a discussion about it. Feel free to comment, whatever you want. I think it's a little incorrect, because I feel like everyone has moments of service to self and moments of service to others, and to purely be one or the other, that's not how humans are so vast. Humans are so vast, so robust. You can't possibly put yourself in that limiting of a category. So I think there's a lot of shame that goes into that then, when people then try to be this like extremely like selfless giver. And that's when you find yourself in a relationship with a bunch of narcissists. You know what I mean? It's like, we teach people to like be good, and they take that the wrong way. You need some level of self-importance to create boundaries so that you're not involved with people that are going to hurt you, for example. You know what I mean? So I'm trying not to go on a million tangents here. So that's the last topic I just wanted to like bring up to you, is that I just want you to know that I have been feeling a lot of energy lately of people feeling like they need to martyr themselves for like the cause of ascension. And it just, if you need the reminder, you're also extremely important, and you need you. You need you. It's like, what do they say? What do they say on the airplanes, right? You need to put your mask on before you help someone else. Because if you're not good, you can't help anybody. And especially, you know, I have obviously a spiritual based business. It's like, don't get caught up if you're like me and also have that, or you're just like a healer, or people come to you and people feel good around you, all of that. Don't get caught up in the martyrdom, because you are cutting off so many other parts of you, and it's just not fair to yourself. You know, it's not fair to yourself to like only be that when you're so much more than that. And it's like, it doesn't matter what you want. That's what it is. Wow, I really feel like someone needs to hear that. It doesn't matter what you want to be. So again, that Pleiadian energy simply wants to serve others. They have no sense of like self-preservation. They have no sense of, and it's funny because the reptilian is like exclusively self-preservation. Like if they have any sort of feeling that someone's going to hurt them, their instant reaction, even if it's like completely an illusion, their instant reaction is to like go on the defense and therefore the offense. Pleiadian is like opposite. Pleiadian's like, you know, like they'll get hurt over and over and over again, and like they have no sense of wanting to like fight, you know. That's why we have a mix of souls, because you might be heavily Pleiadian, but because you're like that, you needed to invite a reptilian soul into your body to help protect yourself against people who are hurting you. See, this is how it happens. That's how it happens. You call other souls to help you because you're like, oh my God, I can't exist in this world on my own the way that I am. So anyway, let me know if you want to know about any of this. I could talk about this for hours and hours. But that's the final message here is don't martyr yourself. You're also super important, and your energy matters, and you matter. And of course, you know, if you follow me on TikTok, you know I always pre-qualify this. I'm not talking about people who are parents. If you are parents, that's a different thing. You have signed up to be an endless giver. Like I still feel like you should take care of yourself, but I'm not a mom, so I don't feel that it's my place to speak on that. So I trust your judgment as a parent, but I'm not saying hold a strong boundary with like a literal child. That's especially when that child is in the you know under 7 and like absolutely needing those bonding experiences. So I'm not talking about that. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. I don't want to get involved with, you know, I'm not talking about any of that. But finally, what I want to wrap this up with and say is if you're an adult, you're dealing with another adult, that's not your kid, you don't need to martyr for anybody. Even if it's like a sibling, even if it's like or whatever, like you don't need to martyr for anyone, and you don't need to go outside what you're comfortable with for somebody else. No matter what, it doesn't make you good. You don't get brownie points for self-rejecting so that someone else is happy. And so that you're protecting someone else like from their own ego and their own fragileness. You don't get brownie points for that. You don't get a special spot in heaven for that. That's not what's going on here. That's what we've been brainwashed into thinking, but it's in my humble opinion, that's not what it is. Okay. So this has been the first episode back. Let me know what you think about this. Leave me a comment. Once again, like, subscribe. I forgot to say that at the beginning. Like and subscribe. Would love to have you back here for every new video. I'm gonna be dropping one of these once a week and just riffing on topics. So let me know if you have topics you want me to discuss or anything you want my opinion on. Please remember, this is my opinion. It's not a fact. Please don't follow anyone blindly. That's another aspect of New Age spirituality that I hate. Don't follow anyone blindly. Not everyone is for everyone. And you need to ask yourself if something resonates with you. And if it doesn't resonate with you, then it's not your truth. And therefore, it's not the truth. I don't believe in one singular truth. I believe that everyone has their own truth, and our combined truths form a full picture perspective that upholds the illusion of the earth plane. So we all need our own truth. We all need to stand by our own truth, and you get to change it at any time. You get to pivot. You get to change. Your truth can be something today. Tomorrow, you can completely change it. Truth is not static. So let yourself be flexible. Let yourself move and flow and change through the seasons of life. That's beautiful. I love that. And okay, hope you liked it. Talk to you later.